What's good? Thank you for stopping by to visit the channel for this college football playoff top 25 projection. So this is not the live show that you are going to get when you tune in to ESPN and get the final rankings. This is my video to show what I feel the committee is going to do. So this is just a standard projection. This is not something that I'm saying what I would do. I'm only going off of what the committee has done based on their behavior going on 9 years now. So if this is your first time visiting the channel, please click that notification bell and also click the subscribe button. And if you want to stay updated on these type of videos, and I also do previews as well. So without further ado, let's go ahead and get started as to how this election process works. A lot of people are thinking that the committee changes year after year. They have been spot on and consistent with their decision making since 2014, and it is all based on a silly little formula. So before I get started, I want to give a shout out to Dave Bartu with the College Football Matrix and Adam McClintock at College Football Professor. They're both on Twitter, or X. So they have done a phenomenal job of actually breaking this down, and they're essentially giving us what the committee is doing because they go off of a strict criteria. It is a set of guidelines. Wins, losses, quality wins. Quality wins are wins against teams who are above 500 or more. So if you're 4-4, it is not considered a quality win. It is basically a win versus teams with a winning record. That's essentially what is a quality win. Bad losses, you will get punished for a bad loss. A bad loss is the opposite of a quality win. A bad loss is a team who loses to a team with a losing record. Simple enough. Top 25 wins, easy. I mean, it's wins against teams who are currently in the top 25. So if you beat a team early in the year and they fall out of their rankings, they're not currently in the top 25. They don't count that as a top 25 win. Game control, it's a simple method of just calculating margin of victory. That's really what that is. Strength of schedule. Strength of schedule is funny because strength of schedule is not the strength of schedule that you will get from ESPN or CBS Sportsline or team rankings or whatever it is that you get your strength of schedule from. Strength of schedule is literally the opponent's record and the record of your opponent. What strength that strength of schedule formula is the BCS strength of schedule. That is really what they use. And conference champion, that factors in towards champ week. So when you get down to the conference championships, yes, the conference champion, that stuff does matter. So that is the selection process. I'm going to hit on a couple of these items. And when you see some of their teams ranked where they are, that is essentially, I'm going to talk about quality wins, bad losses. Strength of schedule is not really something that is used to, it's not used to just rank teams. It's basically used as a tiebreaker. So if you have two teams with two quality wins, they're both 7-1, and they both have two quality wins and one top 25 win, the strength of schedule is going to be the tiebreaker. So that is how they use strength of schedule when they rank these teams. So let's go ahead and get started going through 25 through 21. So let us begin. We got 25 through 21. We got Air Force 25th, Liberty 24th, 2 G5 schools, 8-0. You're going to notice, yes, they're undefeated. We all get that. Strength of schedule for both teams, 128th for Air Force, 117th for Liberty. The one thing that these two teams have in common, they have only 3 wins against quality opponents. That is combined. Air Force has 1, Liberty has 2. If you're a G5 school, you got to have the resume of Cincinnati from 2 years ago where they went to Notre Dame. If I recall correctly, they went to Notre Dame. They beat them on the road. and had multiple wins against quality teams. So I think they had maybe 3 or 4 quality wins, and I think one team against a one win against a top 25 team. So you got to have that type of schedule if you're in the G5. If you don't, then it's tough sledding for you to even get any type of consideration. 23 UCLA, 6-2. The thing about UCLA, and I'll mention UCLA, Kansas State, and USC. They both, though those 3 teams, they only have 1 win against teams with a winning record. So, if you have 2 losses, you got to come to the table with more than just either a win against a team with a winning record, or you got to have a top 25 win as well. So if you only have one or the other, if you only have one or the other, that's where they're going to get punished. So, and also too, between the 3 teams, Kansas State, their strength of schedule is at 45. Could possibly see them 21st ahead of USC. But I think USC, them going 7-2. Well, yeah, them going 7-2. I can actually see them up there as well, since they have 1 more win. So let's truck along through 15 through 20 here. We got Utah at 20 after they lost to Oregon, but their resume is still pretty sound. They still got 2 wins against teams in the top 25, 3 wins against teams with a winning record. Kansas is right ahead of them at 19. 1 top 25 win, that is against Oklahoma. 2 quality wins. Tennessee at 18, 6-2. So, you're going to see a theme here. A lot of these teams have the same record, but there's going to be some things that's going to separate them from each other. Game control, and also top 25 and quality wins. Oklahoma State was one that caught my attention, and the reason why they caught my attention is because they have not just 2 losses, but they're not even in the AP. So they're not even in anybody's radar. But when you peel back their resume, they got 2 wins against top 25 teams, Kansas and Kansas State, and 3 wins against opponents with a winning record. That is absolutely crazy. Did not think that was the case for Oklahoma State. That could be one where when you see them up in the top 25, I would be surprised. I don't know. I would be surprised if the committee would put them up there, considering that they're just out of the radar. They're nowhere near anybody's top 25. But when the model spit out Oklahoma State at 16, looking at their resume, that was a big shock. Their game control is awful, though. Game control is one of the worst in the top 25. But when you pair that with the type of schedule they had, them going 6-2, it's kind of hard to beat 2 top 25 wins and 3 quality wins. And Oregon State rounds out 15th, 2 top 25 wins and 2 quality wins as well. 6-2, they still got a lot of work to do on their end. So we got 14 through 11. We got Mizzou making an appearance. Missouri, 1 top 25 win, 3 wins against teams with a winning record. The 1 top 25 team was against K-State. That was a 1W they got. Penn State was a surprise. Penn State has no top 25 wins, only 2 wins against teams with a winning record. So their non-conference schedule did not do them a ton of favors here. At 12, you got Notre Dame. Notre Dame's 7-2. Strength of schedule is 16. So they do play a tough schedule every year, regardless of what people, like to spit out whatever narrative that they want about Notre Dame. But really strong strength of schedule. 1 top 25 win, 3 quality wins. Louisville is ranked 11th based on the model. Head to head is what is really putting them ahead of Notre Dame as well. 1 top 25 win, which is against Notre Dame, but 4 quality wins. 4 wins against teams with a winning record. That is strong. The ACC, one of the strongest conferences in the country, and you got to give Louisville credit. they did their thing, but the one thing that's going to keep Louisville, the looming albatross that is going to keep them weighed down a little bit, is that loss to Pitt. If they did not have that loss to Pitt, an 8-0 Louisville, they would definitely be in the hunt for being ranked in the top 6, in my opinion. So that one loss is going to be tough to overcome for them, in my opinion. So I already know I'm going to catch a lot of flack, a lot of heat for this, and it's no means to be controversial. Oregon, number 10th. And you're going to point to they beat Utah 100%. I saw it, and it was an absolute splattering up in Salt Lake City. Here's Oregon's problem. One win against a team with a winning record, which was Utah. One top 25 win. That's it. Strength of schedule, awful. The non-conference schedule did not do them any favors. And also teams that they beat, they're also not doing what they're supposed to do as well. Texas Tech, they are 3-5. Colorado is 4-4, and they're just not playing the way that they were playing earlier in the year. So that loss to Washington, did hurt them, in the grand scheme of things, but they're in a good spot, So if you win your conference and you have one loss, I think it's going to be very difficult for the committee to leave out a one-loss Pac-12 team. So you control your own destiny as long as you take care of business and you don't slip up and have a bad loss down the road. Then Oregon has just as good a shot as any to be in the top 4. Number 9, Ole Miss. All these teams got the same record, so let's go ahead and just call it what's the separation between the two, between the 4. Ole Miss, 2 quality wins, 2 top 25 wins. That's more than Oregon. Alabama, right ahead of Ole Miss, head to head. That stuff matters. Alabama, 2 wins against top 25 teams, 3 quality wins. So that's obviously going to be ahead of Ole Miss. It's also going to be ahead of Oregon. Texas, head-to-head over Alabama. Still got the same record and all that. But Texas, strength of schedule strong. 18th in strength of schedule. 2 top 25 wins and 4 quality wins. So, good Lord, man. If Texas hadn't lost to Oklahoma, I think the model would have put them at number 1. This is a really solid resume for Texas. You got to take your gotta capitalize on your opportunities, man, when you can get them. All right, 6 and 5. We got Oklahoma at 6. They're 7-1. Got the head-to-head over Texas, as I mentioned earlier, but 1 top 25 win, 3 quality W's. I think they're going to be firmly locked in at 6. Georgia is going to be not my opinion, but what the model comes back at. The model has Georgia at 5th, and it's a very curious case. Georgia's undefeated, all that good stuff. 8-0, game control not as strong as what we'd all anticipated it would be, but still strong and nonetheless. The thing with Georgia is their strength of schedule is 120th, and they only have 2 quality wins. 8-0 with 2 wins against teams with a winning record. It's kind of hard. I think it's going to be tough for the committee to put them in that top 4 or even that top 3 spot. But the good thing about Georgia is you're going to play Missouri, and if you get that W this coming Saturday, that is not only going to give you a top 25 win, but that's also going to give you a quality win as well. So you're going to be looking at 1 top 25 win and 3 quality wins. Depending on the other teams who are ranked ahead of you, that is definitely going to boost your resume. So it's not about where you are currently. You just keep taking care of business. You control your own destiny. You keep stacking up these top 25 wins. You're going to have ample opportunities with Ole Miss and Missouri coming up. All right, so we got 1 through 4. Ohio State takes the top spot. Ohio State with 2 top 25 wins, 4 wins against teams with a winning record. Game control, one of the best in the country. I think they're like 4th in game control. Very, very strong, very solid. Florida State, number 2, 1 win against a team in the top 25, 3 quality wins. Really good game control. They have a better game control than Ohio State here. That's really the only thing that's keeping them at number 2 is the fact that they don't have another top 25 win to go to their resume. Michigan is number 3, and it has absolutely jack diddly squat to do with what is going on off the field. It has everything to do with what is going on the field. Michigan has 4 wins against teams with a winning record. The only reason why Michigan is not number 2 is because they do not have a top 25 win. They have 0 top 25 wins. If they had 1 top 25 win with their 4 quality wins, they would be number 2 behind Ohio State without any question. So that's the only thing that's keeping Michigan at number 3. Has absolutely nothing to do with their NCAA investigation. You're already hearing some rumblings of the people who cover the sport who will mention that Michigan is in hot water and they will probably be ranked out of the top 25 or be ranked out of the top 6 or not even be in the top 4. Whatever the case is, it's a load of crap. The committee has absolutely no way to enforce that. They're not the NCAA. They cannot instruct. They just cannot enforce. That policy. And number 4, we have Washington. Washington, they have 1 top 25 win against Oregon and 2 wins against teams with a winning record. Their game control, however, is the worst among the teams in the top 4. But if they continue to keep winning their games, I do not see the committee keeping them out of the Final 4. So that is it. That's it. That's the top 4. I know you probably noticed that James Madison did not make the top 25. The reason why James Madison did not make the top 25 is because they're not eligible for the postseason. So I'm curious to see if the committee would still actually rank them, considering that they are 8-0. It is a phenomenal success story. You just cannot help but to be enamored with what they have done this year, given the fact that this is in their 2nd year as an FBS school. So, I mean, 8-0 is still impressive, though. I mean, hats off to them. Shout out to James Madison. And the whole Michigan thing, like I said before, you're going to hear some rumblings about what the committee is going to do. Can the committee keep them out? It's a load of crap. I hate that kind of talk. It has absolutely nothing to do with what they have done on the field. Their body of work on the field speaks for itself. Has absolutely nothing to do with what they have done off the field. So I don't think the committee is going to punish Michigan because they can't. So with that being said, that is it. This is my projection for week 1. Just a friendly reminder, this is just a model projection, so it has absolutely nothing to do with what I would do and what my bias is, what my personal beliefs are. To be quite honest with you, I have done this is my 2nd year doing these projections, and just like the College Football Playoff Committee, nobody is going to be happy because their team is ranked too low or their team is not ranked high enough or whatever the case is. Whatever. I mean, if you're going to get upset over a model, then that is your prerogative. That is totally up to you. So with that being said, thank you for stopping by to visit the channel. Let me know what your thoughts are and what is your top 25 projection, or if you don't have a top 25, give out your top 6 and what you think the committee is actually going to do. Not projecting your own bias, but what do you think the committee would do based on what their behavior has been over the last 9 years. So I'm curious to see how close I could actually get based on the actual committee and seeing what they do. But I actually have a good idea. The final top 25 is actually where the model does its best work. Last year, it hit the top 4, and even back testing it, it has nailed the final 4 in every single season in its exact order. So thank you again for stopping by to visit the channel. Please leave a like and also subscribe to this channel as well. Thank you for watching and thank you for visiting. I hope to catch you on the next video.